one from I had one from a major university, and I totally forgot about it. And I totally lost it in my email. And I when I talked to them later, I realized that I had really blown an opportunity to get more stuff rolling pretty quickly. And even though I wrote them a really nice letter and, and just, really blew all their horns and stuff, I didn't fill out the form. And I really didn't find it until about 3 months later. So I'm just saying that as an evaluation of my assessment process. I mean, I need prompts, and I know our teachers and our kids are going to need, reminders. And because it's really, I'm like totally psyched about the more of these you get, the better your standing is going to be, which means you're going to get more resources, which means we're going to get more resources.
Exactly.
So, but there is that feedback part of losing this stuff. And
sure,
forgetting.
and we know that, and we do hound people.
You do?
It's we're the best housewives in the world, if you want to call about nagging housewives. I have a great reputation as calling and emailing people, so plan to hear from me.
Okay.
I'd like to just kind of go over an agenda, and it looks a little bit ambitious for the next hour and 20 minutes, but we can get through most of it. We need to talk a little bit about the expectations that we just mentioned, and kind of the big picture of this evaluation based on the goals for the project. And we've talked a lot about NSF accountability, which I'll just touch upon briefly, and how does your student assessment, the assessment that you will be doing, tie into what we'll be collecting as well. Inquiry, I think, is really important because you notice the film clip that Doug showed. Those children are being asked to question, and when we ask the right questions and let them answer that, we get much more thinking. They're going to be solving problems. Their goal is to solve a problem with the project that they design, and the more inquiry you can use with them, the better. Talk a little bit about assessment standards, what I was going to get to as we were assessing the breakfast at Super 8. By the way, I only had a little bowl of cereal and some coffee because I knew that my passion would lie in the muffins that Tech always has, or the sweet rolls, and that I would have one when I got here, which I didn't get, so I'm being good with cranberry juice. And then some of the feedback that you can give me from your experience, those of you who worked in the program. I know that you can talk to Keith and Celeste and those Mary and those people who've been working with it already. And then, this whole week that Doug has planned for you is about motivation. And motivating you, motivating the kids that you will work with. And I don't think anything is more motivating for kids than hands-on projects and the learning that comes from it. You can't even imagine. As an educator for 28 years, and now I sit in about 80 classrooms a year, which, by the way, is a really cool thing to do. I found that the higher up you go into the field of education, the more out of touch you get with what the classroom teacher's doing. And so, like, the state of Michigan says to the teachers, here's what you should be teaching, and they give them this big thing, and so, okay, and do that in 9 months. And then we need safety education, and we also need you to be the parent, and we need you to be their whatever. And the teachers are going, I can't do one more thing. And so you see, we are piling more and more on people, and that's getting to be a real problem. But we also need to be able to assess that. We need to have some standards built in, and so we have to motivate kids. And here is the goal that Doug has so proficiently talked to you about in the morning, and it just underscores what we have been talking about, the fact that we need to get kids out of their seats. We need to get them doing, and there's that whole population, especially boys. I don't like to sound as though the girls don't have that problem anymore, but boys don't sit still nearly as much. I used to tell the high school, the mothers of high school kids, take them home for 3 years, bring them back to me in 6 months. I can teach them what took 4 years before, because they'll be ready to learn it. And a lot of it is readiness as well.
What is ICT?
So many people are, go ahead.
Information and communication technologies.
Yeah. And I apologize for the acronyms that we use in education. you have to learn a whole new field. I was in banking for 5 years, and I learned a whole set of business acronyms as well. And so, you know, I feel bad for people who are coming into the field or who are going into business. And another thing, after being in the classroom for 28 years, you can get a little blindsided. You think in terms of classroom and teaching kids. It is really good to step out and be in business, because now you're on that side of the fence saying, I wish those kids would know how to write a sentence. I wish they'd know how to, you know, complete an experiment. I wish they could communicate a little bit better. And so you can see both sides of it as you're assessing. It's a really important thing to be able to know. I found this on the internet, and I thought you might want to just take a look at it and see if it reminds you of anything. So just take a second and look at that and comment when you're ready. You know, I read it over again, and then I got the Dr. Ferris one because I realized this was a wheel he was introducing. I like the can you test it against a triangle as well.
I like the I prefer fire.
Yes.
I thought this either could be the Michigan Tech group as they sat down to write the grant, or it could be your kids sitting around the table deciding what they want to work on for a project. Or maybe it's their project when it's finished, and they're evaluating it, whether or not it's going to be worthy or not. So whenever we choose to evaluate something, we have to have some criteria against which we are measuring it, obviously. And obviously remain as objective as we can. And the standards help us in assessing students, which we're going to look at the Michigan standards for assessment in a little bit, even though I think I wasn't aware the Georgia person was going to be here, but that's good. I like that we are, because this is hopefully going to be a national program. It's a really good thing that on the first chance here we have somebody from other universities, and we can pick their brains for that. So here is our assessment challenge then, and everybody gets a voice in it. Basically, what I'm going to be asking from you, there will be a student content test that you would be giving to the kids that are involved in your program. And that would be given in the fall, as soon as you get your teams together and you establish who's going to be on them, and we will see how we are going to deliver that. But that would be one of the things that you would have to do. Another would be just a survey. We've got the results from last year. We asked them things like, you know, what classes they're taking, what extracurricular, what their background is, what their interests might be in the future. Have they thought of an engineering career? Because we want to see from a pre and a post test, obviously, that this program has made a difference in their lives and it has actually interested them in a STEM career. I don't know if you're aware or not, but right now there's a competition. We found this out through the Mars program. Kids are really interested in the CSI stuff. And they're seeing, even though they're getting interested in STEM careers, they're swaying because of all the television crime stopper people. They're interested in that investigative piece of it. And it's not that that's fine, but we can't have them all swooping over to solve crimes, and so what we need to do is broaden it, and that is one of the things we're hoping to do.
Maybe we ought to create a TV show that